to replace this thing here, or this piece of fascia here that goes above the ashtray, and I need to figure out how that all bolts in. I'm assuming the ashtray must come out. Probably going to put a stereo back into it because I do like a bit of music. So yeah, I've bought some stuff to go in this gap. Got a couple of options available to me now. As you can see, I have two center console surrounds. Both have clocks. One's got a clear screen, one's got a very opaque screen. This one's got holes in it. This one doesn't have holes in it. This clock looks like it's seen better days. There's no wiring for it. I would say the plugs for that are busted out, so I don't expect to see that come back to life. This one came with a wiring harness, so it might work. So what I'm going to do is swap the clock over from this one into this one, and that'll give me hopefully a clock that plugs into the existing harness with a clear screen that I can read, and a fascia that doesn't have these redundant holes in it. Have it. Clear clock screen, complete with wiring harness, uncracked fascia panel around the clock, and the dash with no holes through the fascia. And I've got a bunch of random parts there I'll assemble into something that can go on eBay, and this one here I'll modify to get the stereo in. And this bit here has to all be cut out. It's going to be a tight fit because obviously the old school stereos didn't have a forward fascia like the current stuff does. Right, I've done my wiring harness. I've wired my speakers up. I've wired my 12 volt feed, my ignition feed. I've wired up the earth. And I have my RCA plugs ready to run the amplifier. I have my stereo here. Let's see what happens next. Oh, there we go. You know what I've forgotten? To plug the amplifier in. Alright, let's try this again. I have connected the amplifier wire up. If you look into the boot, amplifier wire, well, the amplifier's got the lit up green light on it, which means it should work. Let's go again. Right, let's fire the stereo up again while it's all mounted up. Come to life. Where don't you want to go? Alright, I'm going to test out a theory. This is the plug for my BMW antenna that goes from the front of the car all the way to the back of the car for the electric aerial that my BMW E30 came with standard, and obviously I don't need that anymore, so it's been removed. But this plug here will still plug into the back of a stereo, so my theory is going to be I'll run this cable under the dash and along the sill into the boot, and hopefully that will give me enough signal to pick up local radio stations, because the antenna hole for this car was welded up when the guard was repaired, so it no longer exists. I don't really want to drill any more holes in the car than I have to, so I'm going to run this cable and see if this theory works. In the last couple of days I've finished off the rest of this stereo speaker install. So I've got some 6.5 inch speakers in the rear parcel tray. Tidied up the wiring in the boot to a satisfactory extent. Run my antenna cable all the way along the car and into the boot. And I do have radio, but mostly when the boot's open, not so much when the boot's closed. So there you have it. Stereo's installed. Stereo's installed. 4 speakers plus a sub and amplifier. Pretty happy with that result. I noticed that this car has a JH prefix, not a JG prefix, which means it was built in the Hamilton assembly plant here in Brisbane. So this is a Queensland car. How cool is that?